What's up guys, it's me, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my watercolor supplies. So this channel dedicated to bring you valuable art content, which probably help you with your art journey. So before this video begins, please make sure to subscribe my channel and turn on the notification bell. So let's get started. Let's start off with the watercolor paper first. So these paper are actually the paper that I use most of the time, and I bought it over the past few years for my watercolor drawing. The first one is a Sonos watercolor paper and is a 300 gram white rough. I think this watercolor paper is one of the best brand among all these watercolor paper brand, because it's very rough, and I think it's really nice for me. And this one is the Fabiano 300 gram and grain fine. To be honest, I didn't use it a lot. This one is the Arches 185 gram. It's grain torчин and rough. Then here is the Vidalon. For this one, I just use it for testing my watercolor paints or do some practice exercise, I guess. And this one is the museum one. It's 190 gram. So I think this one also for me to test. And this size for the Vidalon is also for my testing watercolor. So most likely you can see that I use the Sondo watercolor. Sometimes I use the Copic markers to add more details on my painting, and these are actually some of the previous painting I did before. Actually, I did them past few months, those watercolors that I'm showing right now. Let's talk about brushes. You know, brush is very important for watercolor. Winsor & Newton is definitely one of my favorite brand. I use it for almost over 4 to 5 years, I guess. So I really like the quality of them. And then the Daler Brownie is actually another brand that I really like. So I started to use this brand last year, and I used this brush to wet my paper in order to prepare for my watercolor painting. So KYC, I guess, is a brand from Korea, and Nail Arts is using this kind of a fine liner pen to do the detail. So white gel pen is also very important in watercolor, especially when you want to highlight something. So normally I just put them into this case. So as you can see, I've got a lot of watercolor brushes here, but normally I just use the brand that I previously mentioned, like Winsor & Newton, KYC, those brand. And also Star Art is a brand that I use it for doing the special techniques. When talking about watercolor paints, Winsor & Newton, the Cotman Half Pan Studio, this one, it's my most commonly used watercolor palette. You can separate the palette to two different palettes that you can mix the color on it. And Hoban, it's I guess it's my favorite watercolor paints brand. So I think that quality and also the saturation, the vibrancy of the colors are really great. And these are actually the paints that I put it on that palette. So usually I just put it into this bag. Then the Sig brand is a pearlescent watercolor jewel box. It has 12 colors, and also this is also from Sig as well. It's metallic gold watercolor, but instead of using this, I tend to use more ink something. So yeah, I think the ink one is more vibrant. So now for the ink, I think Hoban also did very well on their ink, because it's so vibrant, but it's kind of expensive, to be honest. So yeah, Winsor & Newton, I bought these ink as a set. So I guess they have I remember 12 colors, and sometimes I use it for the calligraphy, because I think their ink is fine, but I like the Hoban drawing ink more than this. Masking fluid is very important to watercolor, but I also didn't use it a lot because if you want to cover something, it's kind of like rough. So before every time you use it, you're gonna shake it. Yeah. So this tape is not a normal tape. It's a tape that if you like put some water on it, it's gonna having like a glue effect to stick on the paper. So yeah. For the pencils, normally I just use Staedtler pencils, and I think most of people like use them. And to be honest, this is like, I don't know what's this pencil is. Yeah. Sometimes I use the mechanical pencils, and this one's from UNI Kuro Toga. I really like them. It's very useful. And the Tombow eraser. Sometimes I use the light board to do the transferring draft, kind of like progress. As I mentioned, markers are also very important because I want to add details, and it's more convenient for me to use markers. Like doing the hair detail on your watercolor painting, and I think it's so easy to use. And sometimes I think using a marker is more controllable. So that's it for today's video. I really hope you guys will subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!